I am here with the great Henry Winkler. I was so excited today. He's the author of a best-selling book, Being Henry the Fonz. It's out in paperback October 22nd. He is a Golden Globe winner, an Emmy winner, a few years apart on the Golden Globes and the Emmy. He's written 40 children's books. He's a national treasure. Mr. Winkler, welcome to the show.
What a lovely introduction.
I got all warm and fuzzy the other night seeing you and Ronnie Howard together on stage, on screen.
But you know what, Donny? I have to say, I did too. I've seen him. He's been at my dining room table. He is my good friend, my brother. But standing there in this mock-up of Arnold's, and I looked across, and for that moment when I turned it to the Fonz, it was 50 years dripped away.
Yeah,
it was amazing, truly.
And so, how did that come about? Did they just reach out to you and say we're doing a Happy Days thing? I mean, you just get a call out of nowhere.
No. We got a call because it is the 50th anniversary. So we thought that was great, and then they wrote a script. I came up with some ideas. I called Ron. I said, "Hey, how about if I did this?" He said, "Let's see what they write." I said, "Oh, yeah, good idea."
Director, let's see what's on the page. Yeah,
absolutely, from beginning to end, director. So we did the scene. We made tweaks on Saturday afternoon when we met for rehearsal, and then in the car going there, he called me and said, "I had a few more ideas." I said, "I'm okay." He tweaked it some more, and boom, you saw what you saw.
Well, congratulations on all your success. I mean, it is to go the span that you have to do this iconic character, the Fonz, we'll talk about that, and then be rediscovered in 2018 with an Emmy for your brilliant portrayal of a acting coach, Gene Cousineau, in Barry. That must have been like, holy shit, how the fuck did I get here?
I'm telling you, I'm very blessed. I really am. Now, there have been fallow years where, I look like an adult, but emotionally, I'm about 3 or 4 years old.
Well, that's what your wife Stacy says in the book, pretty explicitly. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She doesn't hold back.
Right.
And so, and all of a sudden there it was. And not only did I get Barry, but the content, the elevation of material that Bill Hader and Alec Berg gave us all, my acting partners, it was really one of those moments. Amazing.
And it had to be because obviously as the Fonz, you're this iconic character, this tremendous celebrity and fame, but it wasn't, there was different, obviously, level of what at least appears to be acting chops in Barry, or at least that you're recognized for. And right. that had to feel real good. It was kind of like, I love the Michael Douglas, what was the show, Being Kaminsky?
Yes, that's right.
Where at the very end, he gets kind of like, it had a weird kind of parallel to that.
Yes, it was amazing that there were 2 acting coaches on the air at the same time. But it's some moments there is a zeitgeist that, all of a sudden, but it was great. But I always keep the Emmy clothes. Sometimes what I do is I have tried to wear it as a necklace, but it is so heavy.
It's heavy. It's definitely heavy.
Keep sticking my eyes, so I leave it right behind me.
I love in the book when you talk about auditioning for the Fonz and how you broke out in these crazy sweats, and you actually only read 6 lines and got the part.
There were only 6 lines. And what was, and then I only worked 1 day a week. I was only in 7 of 13 episodes.
I didn't realize that.
And my anxiety was I could not work on I couldn't go to the beach on a work day.
I mean, that's been your theme your whole life, is if you're not working, you are one stressed out dude.
It is true. I do many things at once because that's the way I am programmed, I guess, but that is true.
And so you get the part. Did you know, I always ask people when they're in hits, can you feel it at the beginning? Can you? I mean, is it on the page? Is it in the room? Is it? When do you kind of know beyond obviously the outside stimulation?
What was in the room? Gary Marshall.
Yeah.
Jerry Paris.
Yeah.
Ron Howard. The Donny Most, Anson William, Marion Ross, who played Mrs. C. I mean, truly.
Tom Bosley, right.
Limitless. Tom Bosley I saw on Broadway doing Fiorello before I ever got to Hollywood, and he won a Tony for that performance, playing the mayor of New York in that musical. That you could feel. Whether it was going to come together, you never know.
Yeah.
You just do the work and throw the chips up, and they fall where they may.
Why did it, just as kind of a culture guy, a guy who was a behaviorist, why did Fonz hit so hard? What was it about that character at that time that just, as I said, it just exploded, and it was a cultural phenomenon? Why? If you've obviously thought a lot about this.
I think, first of all, I got to play with all my gusto somebody who I wasn't, who I wanted to be. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we all wanted that. Maybe we all wanted to be the Fonz.
You know what? I think that's true. Second of all, he was loyal to his friends. Third of all, he had the menace without the violence.
Yes, he was a tough guy, but a good guy. I mean, he was an anti-hero, but a hero at the same time.
Right, and he took care of his friends when the gang came in and tried to intimidate Ron or Don or Anson. All I did was kick the Coke machines, and 2 Cokes came out.
Right.
Never used the dime.
I love you guys did that bit on stage the other night.
Thank you.
So a big theme throughout the book and your life is obviously your dyslexia and overcoming it. And that you didn't, how did you not find out until you were 34? That just kind of blew me away.
One thing is,
and first of all, describe for everybody. Everybody just thinks dyslexia is like, oh, I mix up letters. I mean, you really understand in the book your the inability to read and do math and the level of disability.
Yes, that is true. And for every child, it is different.
Yeah.
There are some young people who can't write, who can't, from their mind to the pen, make an A. It takes so many different forms that it is you have to be very specific about your child when you see they're having a problem.
So how did you get that and not diagnosed until 34?
Because first of all, my parents, being from Germany, did not imagine that I fell that far from the tree. And I was an embarrassment to them. Oh. And that is something I can never really forgive, because you see your child, you see their struggle. You don't even know the name of what the problem might be, but you know there is a problem. Then your job as a parent is to at least make them feel comfortable with having a problem and not feel lower than whale poop at the bottom of the ocean.
You obviously handled it very differently with your child.
I did. I made a promise. I said to Stacy, my wife, I said, look, I'm going to be a different parent. You know, this is my metaphor. I literally now know that my brain was soldered shut at the bottom. So every thought I had or emotion, you know, when you pour cream into your cup of coffee and you see the swirl of the different color, and then all of a sudden it becomes something different. I had no swirl until I was able to puncture this lid and let come through all of the stuff that I imagined, that I felt, and experienced that for the first time. And that was when I was in my late 50s.
That's insane. Do you remember a moment where a specific moment where you had this moment of self-actualization where you're like, I really beat this, and this is no longer part of my, not that it's not part of your identity, it's no longer a disability for me?
Okay, so I just want to.
Does that question make sense? Does that
yes,
question
it makes perfect sense? And I just want to be clear: you never get rid of it.
Of course,
you learn to negotiate it.
Yes,
and I all of a sudden in my late 50s, I had the realization I am not stupid. I can't be stupid. I've done all this stuff, and it took me a long while to equalize. I am really not stupid. I had such a bad sense of self. It was like my image was this little boy had clamped on to my bone, and I had to cut him off with a Bowie knife. He was holding on for dear life. I don't know if that makes sense, but it took me a while, and I'm now still working on that, still becoming whole.
How do you cut your reading scripts? Explain the compensatory things you do to work around this disability.
Highlighter.
Right.
Over and over again. Read very slowly so that my brain doesn't trick me and leave words out. Mm-hmm. A red pencil, and cut each of the thoughts that whoever the author is trying to make in like a monologue. It goes from one thought to another, and I make a sharp division between those thoughts so that I know why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Interesting. Let's talk about Barry a little bit. That the writing was brilliant. That one you had to see on the page from the beginning. I mean, that was there
to end. Honest to God.
And what are we hoping for next?
I don't know. I'll tell you what I do know. I know that in October 30th, I'm going to be 79 years old.
You look great, my friend. Good for you. God bless.
Thank you. And I'm still at the table.
Yeah.
And I am.
I feel that way at 67. I feel very fortunate because we have a lot of contemporaries that are not. If you worked in the corporate world, or it's this aging thing, if you're a real worker like you and I are, can be pretty challenging,
Oh, well, how about your knees? A friend of mine who's a psychiatrist, Frank Dines, he said, your 60s, you're going to be great. Your 70s, your body is going to knock at the door. Now, going up the stairs, easy. Coming down the stairs at 10:30 at night when I take our two puppies outside for them to pee, there is a sound on each of the 16 stairs. It's I am a cacophonous fellow.
I would think that, interestingly, in your craft, and you've produced, you've directed, you've acted, but on the acting side, that this age opens up all kinds of really interesting opportunities. It's obviously it has its challenges, but you're at a certain age that there's especially now in this world of streaming and better writing and more interesting things. It's not like, we just have to show young 32-year-olds, buff or gorgeous young women. That the streaming has opened up a lot of new possibilities for a lot of new artists.
You know what? That might be true, but there is a lack of material, believe it or not, ever since the pandemic and the strike. All of a sudden, it is like the industry has not come to a screaming halt, but it has come to a halt. They're now just starting to pick up where they were. There was a time of just a few months ago where it would have been like they would have ordered 600 scripts to develop. I think they ordered half of that.
Yeah, that's got to affect things.
And no matter who you are, you were thrown out of the mix, and you had to. I have to get back in.
Speaking of who you are, something that you don't, I don't say you don't like, but you kind of challenge. You're known as one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, like just universally, Henry, great guy, great guy. You bristle at that a little bit.
You know why?
Because you're a schmuck. You're not such a nice guy.
That might also be true. But Donny, the truth of the matter is, it's not that I'm nice. It's that I am grateful. Yeah. And the gratitude makes me enthusiastic about everything.
Yeah.
I speak publicly. I travel all over the world. I just went for the memoir, Being Henry, is coming out in paperback.
October 22nd. Little plug.
Can you see?
I could see it. There you go. Oh, look at that.
This is our newest children's book. It is the second volume.
Okay.
All she wants to be is a detective. And she's also an environmentalist. And her good friend, who is the head chef of the cafe in the middle of the pond, has lost her son. So they have to find her son. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Detective Duck.
I love that.
And the memoir, if you don't like carrying the hardcover around, it's coming in soft cover.
Yes, it is. That's why we're doing this. That's October 22nd. Let's just drift into a little part. You did Bill Maher recently, and you were, I've been very outspoken.
Interesting dude.
He is a really interesting character. How did that booking? That was an interesting booking. How did that come about?
Do you know what? He asked me, or his organization asked me, and I thought, a long time ago, I did his television show, and he is very opinionated.
Yes, he is,
and very smart,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes. His opinion overtakes the discussion at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to do that again. But I thought, you know what? I would like to actually see this man one-on-one. I saw him at a wedding. Carol Leifer, who is a very famous, funny writer. He was there at the wedding. He was very nice. And so that's how it came about. And you have to stay on your toes.
Yes.
You cannot let down for 1 minute.
Yes.
Because he is ferocious with language.
Yeah.
Let me say it that way.
That is a great way to end. Mr. Winkler, it's such a pleasure talking to you. You are really, really, really we've only met a couple of times, but I could tell the sickle that you have. The book is out in paperback, Being Henry, the Fonz and Beyond, Golden Globe winner, Emmy winner, and renowned nice guy. Thank you, Mr. Winkler. Everybody, thanks for watching. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. And we love having you here watching On Brand. And just don't miss any future episodes. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.